When it comes to strategy games set in space or sci-fi universes, Distant Worlds 2 is perhaps the most exciting title to look out for right now. After releasing almost a year ago, Distant Worlds 2 just received its largest update yet, Aurora, and is about to receive its first ever DLC with all new unique factions, creating one of the most standout, complex, and visually astonishing 4X space grand strategy simulators ever. And I know that's a mouthful, but this game is worth it. And by the way, while I have you here, only 7% of you watching this video are actually subscribed to the channel. If you enjoy my content, guys, it would mean so much to me if you took the time to make a simple click and sub to the channel. It really goes a long way in helping my videos reach further, and hopefully also help you in knowing when there's new and exciting content to be enjoyed. I'd really appreciate it. First off, Distant Worlds 2 is gorgeous, massive, and there's so much I want to show you here. And so, let's talk about what exactly makes this game tick. In many ways, Distant Worlds 2 shares aspects with other Space 4X games, as there are a few key areas, like galaxy customizations, that remains a staple in the genre. But where Distant Worlds 2 really stands out is in its granularity and the dedication to player choice. Even before you begin your journey into outer space, this game gives you the choice of tailoring the galaxy to your liking, giving you the experience you crave exactly how you want it. We're talking choosing everything from your species, each bringing their own features, cultural aspects, and gameplay styles with them, to how the galaxy looks and how many stars there are in the universe, how you want research to work, and I absolutely love that research can be random or in actual hard sequence, by the way, to the prevalence of aliens and dangers in the galaxy, to your government system, and just so much more. It takes quite a lot of time making the perfect galaxy for a long and awesome campaign, but actually getting into this thing is when the real fun begins. The universe, no matter how small or large you make it, is awesome, and I mean that in the purest sense of the word. Distant Worlds 2 give you the sense of being in an actual sci-fi epic, as you can zoom all the way into that cozy home planet of yours, inspect your starting ships and tinker with various things, and then zoom out, little by little, until it's all revealed. Of course, exploration is a big aspect of Distant Worlds 2. One of the most fun aspects of space games like this is that sense of discovery, of beginning somewhere small and ending up as a giant space empire, taking it all to the victorious end, or a burning conclusion where you're fighting the other empires for supremacy. But even though massive battles and political intrigue is definitely a part of Distant Worlds 2, in a regular game, everything begins in the small. The very first few minutes and hours are very likely going to be the quietest, but in a game about deep space exploration, about uncovering the secrets of the dark unknown, quiet is good. Quiet is exciting. Quiet actually allows you to take your time, to get to know the game, which, believe it, you'll definitely need some time to do. But that is the mark of a truly great strategy game, of course. The deeper, the better. Because even though the first hours might be about learning and exploring the game in a meta sense, it all means that the hours to come will be all the more fun, simply because understanding is fun. Distant Worlds 2, beginning or not, really is all about managing your resources and understanding what you can accomplish with those resources. You need ships to explore and build, which is what research and construction ships are for. But this game also requires that you refuel your ships and bring other ships to the field with specific other carrier ships. The attention to detail here is just amazing, and I was actually blown away by a tiny but awesome detail, like when research probes are going towards a research object and then returning to disclose their findings at home. Of course, this is all very peaceful, isn't it? We do love our peace times here at Andy's Take, and certain factions, like the all-new Ikuro faction, which is now available in the first DLC for Distant Worlds 2, excels during peacetime, making use of organic materials and harmony to make headway. If you're more of a fighting alien, however, like the Daiut, also part of the latest DLC, there is always a possibility of making warships. You see, in essence, Distant Worlds 2 can be divided into two parts. The early game, where you're seemingly alone in the vast emptiness of space, tinkering with your own stuff, and then there's the rest of the game, where you meet the others, begin to conduct diplomacy, and, celestial overlords forbid, wage war. But let's talk about diplomacy first, because honestly, Distant Worlds 2's diplomacy is a godsend. I really don't know what it is with most 4X games, but to me, the diplomatic aspect almost always seems to be letting me down, offering very simple solutions and options in games that could have offered so much more. Not Distant Worlds 2 though. Oh boy, oh no sir. The diplomatic scene in Distant Worlds 2 competes with the best of them. The options here are not only fantastic and so much deeper than in other 4X games, as we can here actually create useful and tangible treaties that are much more than just simple trade bargains. This will create and foster long-lasting relationships or bitter rivalries, but what you can do is also dependent on which faction you're dealing with. Some aliens might not want to deal with you, but at least the game will tell you why. For example, that it's necessary for them to like you more first, which is just awesome information to have at a glance like this. But others, more warlike aliens, might never agree to anything if it's not in their strategic interest at all, making war more likely. I also love that you can actually be approached by space pirates who will offer to not attack your vessels if you pay them protection money, which is that awesome space mafia extortion we love to see. But if all else fails, there's always war, and I think this is where the true awe-inspiring beauty of Distant Worlds 2 really shines through. Combat in Distant Worlds 2 is arguably more cinematic than any other sci-fi strategy game I've ever seen, while also being extremely detailed if you want it to be. First of all, just look at those gorgeous ship models. Absolutely stunning work, almost like an actual pre-rendered trailer or something. The action looks fantastic and actually lasts for a while if it's a battle of scale, but the important part to understand is that you have as much control as you want. And this comes down to Distant Worlds 2's focus on automation versus manual control. You see, this game can get complex, especially in the heat of battle. That's why every fleet and ship part of that fleet can be given orders, telling them how to act in any given situation. For example, certain ships can be asked to attack others in their vicinity, run away, or various other options depending on their capabilities, meaning that a carrier ship that houses fighters might do well in staying away from immediate danger. You can always take direct control of whatever ship you're fielding, but in grand battles, when there's a lot to focus on all over, sometimes it's easiest and perhaps even more immersive to let the ships just do as they're told. This also goes for many other parts of the game. In essence, Distant Worlds 2 is a massively diverse game, dealing with every aspect of governing. From construction to resource gathering, refueling, repairing, upgrading, trade, diplomacy, and war. With so many mechanics and the fact that things become more complicated the further you play due to the sheer size of the universe, it can actually be really useful to automate the more tedious parts of governing, exactly like making sure ships are refueled and maintained. You can also let the AI handle things like stock markets and taxation, or you can even sometimes have advisors ask you before making decisions, as a sort of middle ground between full automation and full manual control. As you might have noticed, this is all part of Distant Worlds 2's UI, and for the sheer massive amount of information this game conveys, I think it does a really good job of doing so. You can see planetary information at a glance, but clicking obviously gives you much more of it. I love the amount of information given here, but what's more is that the UI art is also top-notch, whether for buildings in the menu or in the diplomatic menus, where our partners are actually moving yet remaining incredibly artistic looking, making every aspect of the game come that much more alive. Distant Worlds 2 is so much more complex, user-friendly, and content-filled than ever before, and with the all-new DLC, which brings 2 unique and interesting factions to the game, I cannot recommend Distant Worlds 2 enough, especially for lovers of deep strategy set in space. There is so much more to experience in Distant Worlds 2 than what I've shown you here, but I hope I piqued your interest in this beautiful, mysterious, and extremely satisfying game, which is better than ever. If you have experience with Distant Worlds 2 or have thoughts about the game, let me know in the comments. And as always, make sure to leave a like and sub to the channel. Thank you so much for watching, thank you so much to Slitherine for sponsoring this video, and I'll see you next time. Cheers!